Welcome to Italy as we get set to go racing once again here on a fantastic Wednesday night. Another trip to the beer league here at the infamous Autodromo Nazionale Monza and the Temple of Speed. My name is Rempel alongside Acinni. We bring you all of racing action from start to finish here on this fantastic Wednesday afternoon. Fen, a wild race in store for us here this afternoon. This championship has continued to pick up in intensity over the last several weeks, and with us back at the Temple of Speed after coming out here a few seasons ago for a trip around this track with no chicanes and on the oval, it's going to be a good ride as we once again look to cut both chicanes, but this time only on the Grand Prix layout.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fascinating one. I think despite the sadness of not getting to see that massive oval added onto the lovely much shorter track. Otherwise, I think it's probably for the best. These cars will probably have a much easier time without it. As we dive into the points here, Henry Morris is still holding on that lead with Giovanni Romano not far behind.
Look at how tight the points are all the way back from fifth on down. It's enough that Kyle Blevins has lost 7 spots as a result of the showing that he had last week at Circuit of the Americas. 5th place all the way back to 10th. Separated by only 15 points. It is a wild number to be taking a look at. Of course, the battles for second and third still close. Well, they're separated by only 1, and it's only 7 from there up to the points leader. Only 2 teams changed positions this week at the Teams Championship. 0 Team 6 jumping up 2, and Super Formula Bros technically jumping up 1, then being bumped back down 1. They are right now tied with Hale Satin for 4th.
Yeah, that battle between those two teams, not at all resolved between them, and Zero Team only getting just ahead of them, so it's entirely possible that they'll get dragged back into that fight for the bottom step of the podium there for all those drivers. Otherwise, the rest not far ahead or behind, however, so I think it's definitely all still to play for as we get into this second half of the season. Behind pace, just under 1 keg, right? Or just under 2 kegs, excuse me.
Yeah, just under 2 kegs here this afternoon as the field is going to get set to go racing once again here this afternoon. We'll take a ride on track here once again as this field is set to have a good night here this afternoon. This is going to be on board with Darren Bai. He'll take you for a lap here around the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, and I'm going to be honest, man, it's going to be a bit of a simple one this afternoon.
It really is. There's no chicane here, so you're just going to be flat out, I believe, throughout the entire first part of turn number 1, which is not that part we just passed there. You're still flat out through here. You do a little bit of a lift, if I remember correctly, just to get the rotation in, but otherwise you are, getting back onto that throttle as soon as you are able to, and then diving into, I would say, a braking zone, also not a braking zone, another spot where you just lift a little bit, get the rotation done, and then you're back on the throttle for turn number 2. Now you know Lesmos 1 and 2, and we get into some braking here finally as we get into those pair of right-handers, but it's not a whole ton. You're still in 3rd gear, into 4th, back into 3rd for Lesmos 2, and up into Ascari, which is, I think, the only real big braking zone we have here.
I would argue the Parabolica at the end of the lap as well would be a really good braking zone well, especially if you're trying to go for a dive bomb down the inside, trying to go for that over-under. Darren Bai, though, hard on the brakes, shifted down only into the lower RPMs of the 4th gear, and then out down the back straightaway for Bai as he gets set to hightail down the racetrack once again. Right now sitting 6th place on the boards, the 1:32.036, trying to see if he can't improve on this lap. And again, hard on the binders, all the way down into the upper RPMs of 3rd to get that extra little oomph of acceleration as he goes off the corner. And that is a lap around Monza with both chicanes missing this afternoon.
It is a quick one. Really, I feel like we've moved that 6-speed gearbox into 4 gears, with 3rd being your first gear that you work through. We'll have to see as the night goes on. The drivers starting to put it in times, all of them pretty quick and pretty rapid with each other. Scott Farthing currently top of the timing board with that 1:31.322. But as soon as I say that, Austin Tucker gets it done with a 1:31.144.
Tucker up to the top of the field. Carson Catlin, meanwhile, working his way off of the second corner. Heading to Lieberman, jumping into 2nd as well, and only 0.03 of a second off of Austin Tucker's full time. Carson Catlin's run, good enough for 16th. Heavy Campbell just in front, going to go all the way into 10th. Result of his run. Now, a lot of the drafting battles here this afternoon in qualifying all going to come down to who is going to be the ones to watch, right? And look out with the draft packs, because that's where you're actually going to be seeing drivers looking to make up ground.
Yeah, the draft packs are going to be where time gets made for all these drivers. The lap times we're seeing that are kind of at the sharper end of the stick involving that draft pack because of how much you spend on full throttle, cutting through the air, so the ability to hide around behind somebody else who's doing that work for you will net you a faster lap time. Alex King, I believe, started out in the middle of this pack at one point, now is at the sharp end of it. We'll see if he improves his time up the order at all.
Alex King, 10 seconds on the clock here as he tries to see if he can't best his best lap, but he's out on the AstroTurf, gets a little bit loose. That might do it for an off track, and it does. He's going to be coming down pit road. That's a shame, as he was looking to have a good run. Chris Flams going into the 7th place spot there for him, while other drivers looking like they might be trying to improve here. Look at Alex Crawford. A lot of slipstream down the pit straight here, and he's not the only one as well. How about that, as Brooks Coit is going to jump into number 7 and Justin Hall right behind, all the way up to 10th.
A fantastic set of laps for those 3 drivers. We'll see how they come out of the pits with Alex King come out of the pits, how they get around with another lap. Alex Crawford seems to dive in there. Jason Lee trying to get his first lap time on the board for the evening, if I remember correctly.
Trying to see if he can't get a time in there. I know a 1:32 will be the mark. And that's good enough for 12 for the time being. Not a bad run, but with him not having, right, he didn't have a lot of tow in front of him, right? So that car's definitely got more underneath it.
Absolutely. We'll have to see if the ability to get a draft here going out of out of first corner here.
Curva Grande.
Yes, Curva Grande, excuse me, thank you. Mixing up that and Ascari apparently, even though they look nothing alike. I was going to say, coming out of Lesmo 2 might be the spot for Jason to get a draft into Ascari, I think is where that brain thought was going, but it just jumped over the fence.
Justin Hall right now looking to be on a pretty good improvement as he tries to run down Alex Crawford just up the road. Ron Wolf just a little ways into this field as well, is also having a pretty good run. He's trying to break into the top 10 now. It's a bit wide. That AstroTurf will bite you with those off-track 1Xs, and I have a feeling we're going to see quite a few of those over the course of the afternoon. Crosses the line, 0.8 of a second improvement. That's good enough for 3rd place.
That it certainly is, but it's going to be 4th as Alex Crawford comes across and sets a 1:30.631.
Nice.
That will be a fantastic one. The draft really paying off big time for him. He had it going out throughout most of the lap.
Tyler Carlton, meanwhile, was looking to put down a good lap, although it was only a 1:32, so nothing to write home about for him here this time around. It looks like it'll be the same story here for Scott Fleming. I think one thing that we got to keep in mind, right, the immense amount of draft that's going to be generated in these cars as time moves along. We've seen a lot of crashes this year, right, where cars have taken some very violent barrel rolls off of relatively slow corners, right? Turn 1 at Donington Park, we saw quite a few cars going up and over in that corner, right? We also saw at Circuit of America just last week at the hardest braking zone on the racetrack, a car took a tumble about 5 or 6 rolls and ended up embedded in the catch fence. I fear what's going to happen tonight with these cars never getting slower than about 180, 190 kilometers an hour.
Yeah, I have that fear as well. I saw a couple of it in practice as Beer League does its usual traditions of finding the spots to get the cars to flip the best. I think we'll see some explosive ones tonight.
Off and hard into the wall.
Speak of the devil.
Ouch. Ron Murphy and Jay Case trying to get down times. Kasich, a 1:31.9, going to put him up into the 11th place spot. Ryan Murphy, meanwhile, trying to get across the line as well. 1:32.349 isn't the lap that counts. It is. He goes to the 20th.
Nice. You can see the gaps between all of those cars separated by hundredths and thousandths between each other. It is going to be, I think, a very draft-heavy, very quick set of laps around here, and maybe explosive if the side-by-side battles don't get resolved well.
Well, the battle's going to keep on developing as qualifying goes on here. All the way back to Greg Beckman down in 25th, although that off track there is not giving that him any kind of a good time for himself. Ron Wolf currently trying to attack with a 131.216 here as tries to run down some of the drivers just up the road from him. I believe that is Darren Bai actually right in front of Ron Wolf here. Wolf currently sitting
I believe so.
in the 4th place spot. I don't know if this is going to be an improvement though. Well, it might be. He's got some slipstream here. Coming down to the line. This will be close. Down to the wire. It is an improvement. Is that good enough for the top 2? Yes, it is. He's going to go up into 2nd place. Now, does Austin Tucker have an answer for pole?
I don't think so. Not at least not on this lap. It looks like he does not have the...
Oh, how about that?
Oh
matching his fastest lap of the session. That is aggravating as a driver.
That has gotta be. When you're sitting there waiting for it to hopefully show some kind of improvement and you watch it just dwindle away because you're usually having the draft through that section. So the timer on the dashboard just showing you the lap time crunch away. Chris Bright doesn't improve his lap time.
He improved it, but it didn't count.
Oh, well.
I say Ronneberg, haven't talked about Ronneberg much so far throughout the season here. He's been kind of running a bit of a quiet season, hasn't he? The driver of the 017, just kind of running his own pace and trying to just come out on top and make the best of every situation he's got.
That he is coming on a bit of a flyer. See if it actually sticks as he comes out of Parabolica and across the line.
No dice.
No improvement.
A lot of the times when it's set in big draft packs, right? So like we were talking about, you're going to really need a lot of time and a lot of effort to be able to properly reel these gaps in as time moves along. Brooks Clayton looking to come across the line this time by as well. And slight improvement. Is that enough? It is.
Yeah.
He's going to jump up to 7th place.
Fantastic stuff from Brooks. As Bueller also looking to get that time improved.
Nope. Oh, yes, he does.
Oh, yeah. Just a little bit. Should jump him up to 14th, I think.
Yeah. Shows how competitive the middle of that field is there, right? Want to point out, by the way, Jason Lee and Evan Campbell right now running identical times in 15th and 16th place, both having a 132.049. So that right now, one of the most intense battles on the field.
Absolutely. It looks like it's also just continuing to heat up as they continue to set lap times. Blake Gambrell jumping up to 10th with his first time on the board at 131.8.
So the time's going to be jumped up here by just a little bit more as the field is going to continue to work their way up and around. There you see Jason Lee still making good ground here as up towards the head of the field, Austin Tucker trying to see if he's got a potential answer, and he is not as he goes spinning off the road out of Scary and up and over.
Up. And he lands on the
right
halo.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Alex Coffer, he's got to get a tow. Coffer could reset the fast lap of the session here.
Could do so. If he does, he only extends that 4/10 gap even further that he has to Ron Wolf, who currently sits in second. Doesn't look like it's to be this time by at least.
No, not going to get it that time around, unfortunately for him, but good effort.
Chris Bright, however, jumping up into third as that is going on. Getting a 131.077. So breaking into that top three, bumping Austin Tucker off the podium for starting.
Well, if I'm going to keep up here as qualifying continues to work its way deeper and deeper into the session. Not looking like we're going to see any improvement here from Chris Flams, as he is a little bit further down than he needs to be. And to be expected. Yeah, no. Well, actually he does, but he doesn't really improve on the position at all.
No, because it was such a, I think, small improvement from what I recall. It only just reset his own lap time up to 11th.
Well, this fight continuing in intensity here as Chris Flams seeks to battle his way up to a top spot. Alex Coffert trying to drag his own time out to the line. Nope, no improvement. He is going to be down still. How about Chris Bright, though, jumping up there? A 130.988. He's the second driver to get into the 130 bracket.
The second driver to do so. And I think we'll see a couple more maybe join him, because Ron Wolf only a 131.07 and Austin Tucker 131.14. I think the opportunity is there from some of these drivers who, if they get a great amount of draft off of most of the lap, they're able to break into it as well. I don't know how we'd find Giovanni Romano, but I would like to point out that I think Giovanni Romano, at least for a little while, took a ride around the oval.
I am not surprised in the slightest. Oh, there he is. He's chilling with the fire trucks.
Yeah, you know.
How long has he been there is the question.
I think a little while, because I rewound time to go find out how he got into the oval, and that's where I was like, oh, well.
Oh, here it was. Oh, so he's on the exit of the Parabolica, and he's reversed back into where the fire vehicles hang out.
No, he drove there from after going around the oval. He didn't pull out from Parabolica. If you go back further.
Oh my goodness.
He did in fact.
Okay. I didn't even really could access the oval. I'm not gonna lie.
He flipped it over the barrier that says you can't do that.
Oh.
But because damage is off, he just kept driving.
You know what? That tracks. Where there's a will, there's a way. And again, I guess technically you could just get into it by just reversing back to where the safety vehicles are.
It's true. Yeah.
Well, drivers now on their final available laps. If they want to have a time going for themselves, with only a minute, just under a minute and a half remaining. I'm going to be honest, I don't see any changes in the running order coming up over the next lap or so.
With how spread out everybody is around the lap itself.
Well, Casher was the one car that was on a flyer, and well, not anymore.
Yeah, I'd say no draft packs forming to get laps done, so I think it's as they are for the moment.
Well, Gonzalez is a maybe, but that has to rely on, again, him getting through corners like a scarring clean and getting to the check fly before the time expires.
Yeah.
And, well, speak of the devil. Nope, not that time. Game over.
Yeah.
Well, that is it then. Qualifying going to draw to a close here this afternoon as the session is set to change over here into the official race session of the afternoon. So it's time for us to take a swing down, and we shall get a look at the starting grid here, entering the first heat race of the afternoon. So on pole position for us here, it's going to be the likes of, well, who else? Alex Coffert for Apex Predators up on top alongside Chris Bright for Serial Team 6 by only 2,000ths of a second. Jake Case comes home third, Ron Wolf back in fourth. From there, it's going to be Scott Fleming in fifth, Austin Tucker bringing it home in number 6. You, of course, have got Henry Lieberman in 7th, Justin Hall in 8th, then rounding out the top 10 of the afternoon. It'll be Tyler Carlton and Alexander Bueller. From there, back to the field, it's Brooks Clayton, Alex King, Chris Flams, Jason Lee, Blake Gambrill, Aaron Thacker, Darren Bai, Tom Badul, Evan Campbell, Gabriel Gonzalez, Jeremy Castro, Eric Ronenberg, Ryan Murphy, Justin Brissy, Ryan Verhulst, Brian Bruzy, Carson Catlin, Greg Beckman, Jordan Babcock, Adam Joseph Milhot, Giovanni Romano, Austin Farr, Henry Morse, Tyler Augustino, Stefan Purcell close out a 35-car grid.
Maybe packed set of grid. Packed grid. That's going to be, I think, make for an interesting heat as well as feature race, and the fantastic driving that they're going to pull off on this very rapid course.
There is everyone situated all the way back through the field here as everyone is getting geared up and ready to rumble. I'm excited. Do you got any potential favorites entering this one?
I would love to see if Jake Kasich, Chris Bright can keep it together to set themselves up really well with some good heat points. I'm curious to see if Scott Fleming also can reclaim his kind of faster lap time he had in practice. For you?
Hard to say. I don't think I have one for the sprint racing, honestly, because of how volatile these sessions can be.
Fair. Very fair.
Well, the battles are set to close on out here as we still wait for the final car to grid up. We are just waiting on Blake Gambrill. Gambrill going to miss the call. So with all that said and done, the revs are going to build. And green flag racing is underway for the sprint as Alex Coffer takes off, immediately moves a cover off the inside line. Chris Bright trying to tuck into the slipstream here as the field fights their way all the way up towards turn number 1 on the afternoon at Curva Grande. Fanning out 3 wide down the straightaway. Oh, one car hard into the wall behind in the middle of the straightaway. Carson Catlin is upside down and he is going to go into the sand trap on his lid and tucks into the barriers at the other end of the course. Meanwhile, Simon's over the lead. Carver's taking over the lead. Oh my goodness! A terrifying crash as Alex Carver catches the fence, almost takes out our Lesmo 1 camera, lands upside down. A huge crash coming down to the turn number 2.
Man. Jake Kasich, I believe Evan Campbell.
Get the ambulances down to the Lesmos. Holy cow.
Yeah. Ron Wolf, I think, getting caught out of Lesmo 2 as well.
Jeez. That is one of the most violent crashes we have seen in beer league history right there. Now we got more problems behind. Into Ascari, 1 car going hard into the barriers. It's Brooks Clayton. Clayton has been spun around at the back. They're able to gather it up and you know, this is going to happen so quickly here. So, Fen, I have a proposal for you.
Yeah.
Normally we take a break in the sprint. Why don't we just look at this lap 1 replay during the break, because we're going to need it.
I think so. I think that'll be the way that we can get through all of it without losing too much time to watch the rest of the sprint race.
Oh, my word. Chris Flams out of the race as Scott Fleming takes off into turn number 1. He, Chris Bryant, Henry Lieberman, all in a battle here as we fire down. Now more trouble. The 52 car has been turned sideways. It's Austin Farr off at the back of the field. And we're able to gather it back up mostly. Darren Bai also around at the tail end. And, well, no problems this time around, it looks like, coming around through the Lesbo corners. Although Chris Bryant takes to the lead, he's going to get around Scott Fleming. Real quick, this will happen to Farr in the middle of the straightaway.
It was a pretty rough one.
And that, unfortunately, a little bit too early. As here we go. Oh, my good word. Darren Bai hopping up on top and ripping the engine cowl clean off. And kind of lucky the speed had slowed, right? Or those soft screws could have easily pitched Austin Farr up and over.
I think so. If they hadn't already been spinning and therefore sliding as they go too wide towards Parabolica, I think it's totally possible that the car would have been a little bit more flip happy, one could say. Sonny Lee would have been ducked at the inside.
Well, now headed down the straightaway as Chris Bryant, Henry Lieberman, and more all trying to battle it out. Will we look for 3 wide for the number 2 spot? Bueller puts down fastest lap honors of the race so far. As Bright, losing time, doesn't even try to defend, right? He knows he's not going to be able to fight against that as the field thunders into turn numbers turn number one and 2, just turn 1. Sorry, we're not on an oval here this afternoon as Scott Fleming trying desperately to hold on as we fire him back into what would be the second chicane.
Yeah, it will be the second chicane. It ends up being turns 2 and 3, and now Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. We'll see Chris Bright at the back of this kind of initial draft pack of cars behind Alexander Bueller. And I have to imagine it's just going to be a game of trading who's in front, as the person in front has to take the brunt, I should say, of the air the most each time by. So I imagine we'll see those spots flip back and forth over the course of both the sprint race and the feature.
Already almost a third of the way down, cars off the road behind. Tyler Carter's been spun out. He and Austin Tucker are both out of it. Look out for the field as they scramble, trying to get around. They're able to do so relatively clean. Oh, but look out for Tucker, right on the racetrack, on the racing line. He gets it just off the road in time and avoids calamity with the rest of the field. Behind him, though, another car, Jordan Babcock into the wall, as well as Eric Roddenberry in the back of the field. Sorry, that was just to receive the first one off the road. He'll pull the flick spin.
That he will, and gets that car going back the right way along with Jordan Babcock. And that is
Eilhart sliding into the parabolica barriers, and look at this. I like it. Lieberman giving a bit of a push to Bueller down the straight. He knows, right? They are right at the edge of the draft, and he knows, I don't want to battle. I want to push him up there so we can fight for the lead again.
Yeah, that'd be a great way to do it. Those cars can accept the bump draft, especially because that damage is off. Knowing where to do it as Henry Lieberman backs out, so that way when they go over the bumps of what would be the usual second chicane, ends up not unsettling those cars and causing those cars to tip off as they maybe come into contact again.
I'm going to be honest, I'm shocked we haven't had a crash in that second chicane opening, right? Because that was the site of some horrendous rides the last we were out here in GT4 machinery, albeit I will admit, that race, we were in the wet fully, so it was so easy to just hydroplane off the road. Not so easy in these cars here this afternoon on a dry racetrack. So that kind of lends a little bit of a better run for them. Oh, and around, gonna go Chris Flams. He's gonna go into the barriers, and now you got Tom Mazzola trying to fend off Aaron Thacker and more. This year, the battle for 9th through 12th.
And one that has not been decided as they go 3 wide going to Parabolica.
And behind, one more car off the road and spinning. It is Jake Kasich, the number 11. Just avoids traffic as they come back onto the racetrack. And all's well ends well there for the lead. Closing in. Alexander Bueller has got a good run here on Scott Fleming. And Fleming right now, like a stock car at Talladega, is a sitting duck.
As you would be with having to deal with the draft and not having that ability to just kind of ride behind somebody else. That is unfortunately the way it goes. Alexander Bueller looking to try to find the way around him to take over that lead. Doesn't find it before the braking zone of Lesmo 1. Oh, good save from Henry Lieberman there as well.
Boy. An extremely intense dogfight that we're having here for the top spots as Alexander Bueller continues to pile on the pressure with Scott Fleming. Oh, Fleming's wide! That's the opening that Bueller needed, and Ascari is just going to get the drive on, trying to go around the left-hand side.
He's going to have to find his own way through. Henry Lieberman trying to make it 3 wide as he had a little bit more of the draft than either of them did. To launch it up the middle. Who's going to be latest on the brakes?
Latest on the brakes, contact and around!
Oh, no!
Upside down, a big crash, and into the wall goes Henry Lieberman, up on top behind the ambulance, slams back down behind the safety vehicles.
At least, I mean, he did land on his feet. Tires?
I don't know if you can count that, but sure. He's all the way down to 29. He had to take it, so he was fighting for the lead. He made contact with Scott Fleming, and that is all she wrote. And
that is all that it needed.
Nearly taking out another camera down to the final quarter.
I think the beer league is just trying to take out your cameras this week.
Can't say I blame them. We made them go here. They may as well get some expensive revenge on us.
That's true. It's very true. Oh, Commodore into the wall hard as well.
And Tom Badol catching the wall, but they're going out of the lead, and there is Badol coming back onto the racetrack right at Lesmo 1, and he avoids disaster. For second place, Chris Bright spun off the road. He is going to be dropping back down through the tail end. Now Austin Tucker has gone off the road, and we got a 1.2 second gap now between Bueller and Fleming with 6 minutes on the clock, and this is what happened to Tom Badol. He had contact with Jason Lee and straight on and into the fence.
Yeah, that car, he was a passenger, unfortunately, as soon as Jason Lee tried to make that racing line happen. 3 wide here as we're coming into Parabolica.
And this is just for 14th, right? They are not going to score any points for going 3 wide here. They're just racing to who's going to start where come the main event. As the field going to keep up the battle here, headed down the front straightaway. There goes Augustino looking for the outside of Ron Wolf. Up the road, Aaron Thacker's also gotten around Henry Morse. We've had, what, 4 or 5 cars flip over now in just the sprint race alone in 10 minutes. What's going to happen in the main event?
I'm going to guess more of this. I'm going to guess the safety car is only going to make it bunch back up and happen again.
Boy. Keep in mind, this is supposed to be a wet race today as well, right? I mean, there's a reason why this race was due to be called the Slippery Slipstream Showdown, but, well, that rain never came, and this dry track is creating havoc out here. I honestly think this dry track is creating more carnage than a wet track would have.
I think it's a very different kind of carnage. I think if we get rain, there's still rain predicted in the future. Whether or not we see any of it, of course, I think is dubious at best at this time. Not ruling it out, but dubious. I think it would change to be much more like casual slide. Oh, Ron Wolf takes that around the outside.
Did you see how close he was, though, to the wheels of Brooks Clayton? They're right on board with him, and look at this brave lunge. There's no hole here. There's no opening that opens up, and then just, oh my word, that takes guts. That takes guts to pull that off.
Yeah, guts and the knowledge of where that car needs to be and how much speed you can take through it, as they're able to do so. Evan Campbell around.
Doesn't look like anything major though down at Parabolica, so we're going to cut back up here to Romano, King, and Gonzalez. Going at it. They are fighting for 5th place on the racetrack and cannot break away.
Oh, keeping it too wide going through the second chicane here is, I think, a dangerous thing, as the Ron Wolf and Brooks Clayton still go too wide as well.
Oh, man, so close. They fan out and then immediately condense. They try to lock it down for the braking zone, as Ron Wolf trying to still get around Brooks Clayton in that number 9. Look at all the gravel that has been dragged onto the racetrack for the amount of off-tracks that Lesmo won. I think it's safe to say Alexander Bueller is not going to be able to be caught though with that 1.4 second deficit back to Scott Fleming.
I think unless him and Scott Fleming and Chris Bright get together, that car is gone up ahead.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, no.
Hard into the barriers for Tyler Augustino, and also around for Brooks Clayton. That gives Ron Wolf the opening he needs to now start to run away with it, and that really leaves just this battle for 5th. Oh, and now more
cars get collected. Brooks, Tyler Carlton, as well as, I believe, Eric Ronenberg joining that pile up earlier.
This is a bit of a weird one here, as they were arriving on scene to the wreck. So you see Carlton make the look around Eric Ronenberg. I'm wondering if this is connected to Augustino going off the road in front, or if this is just completely isolated. No, it's its own
isolated
thing.
Yeah, a spin there.
Oh, look at who the heck was that? that just managed to get around this. Greg Beckman with an amazing drive around the outside, right on board with him.
Yeah, we'll see this from his point of view. Good heads-up awareness there between him. Tyler Carlton had the soft spin, Eric Ronenberg getting caught up, and then him just working those hands to keep that car with not making contact with either of those drivers.
And we're about to have another one here as Scott Fleming pushing Alex King out to the right-hand side, able to gather up. Oh, my goodness! Oh, a huge accident as Carlton, Brissy, Clayton.
Right, Beckman.
More all off the road. Something has just happened violently coming down here into the second chicane, and oh my. Well, you kind of saw the start of it there as, oh boy. That was on board with Brissy. This is the look from outside. So Brissy was attacking Evan Campbell. There was problems with Tom Madola, who was just rejoining the racetrack. And unfortunately, just caught in the wrong place. Run over from behind Brissy. He goes hard into the tech pro. Oh my!
And then gets run over by
God.
both Clayton and Eric Ronenberg. So yeah, that's how they all arrived on scene with that.
Oh my! Oh Lord! This has been one of the most violent sprint races in beer league history.
That, I think it certainly has.
Right up there with the last time it came to this racetrack.
Yes.
Well, final lap, and then we'll get a chance to get a proper look at what happened on lap number 1, right? Because we still haven't really talked about that much today. We're going to need a few minutes to break down what happened there. But well, right now, Alexander Bueller, 1.1 seconds. Brian and Fleming have been working together. They've really been trying to close. Oh, no, and more trouble on the back stretch as a heavy lick into the fence for Alex King. And Gonzalez as the 14 goes off the road on evasive action. But Bueller wins the sprint. Then it's Bright in second, Fleming in third. Romano will look to out-drag Giovanni Romano for fourth. And then from there, it's going to be Thacker, Gonzalez, Morse, Lee. A drag race to the line. We'll see Ryan Murphy get into 10th. Sorry, 11th along with King, and then it is going to be Jeremy Castro as well. Unbelievable. Oh, there's the celebrations.
The celebrations are explosive in turn 1 tonight, or not turn 1. And where the chicane usually goes.
There you go. Where turn 1 usually is, I think is a good way.
Yes.
To put that. Well, let's try to get a proper look here on all of this here, coming down to the turn number 1, because this is one of the most violent incidents I have ever seen in an opening lap. We'll start with a more mild flip. I never thought I'd say that. We'll start with the mild flip. Carson Catlin, coming down the straightaway, and they just came together back here.
Yeah.
Oh, right up the road. Up the road, you saw them go hard into the wall, and then Catlin picked up onto the halo, and he slid in to the gravel trap and right into the barriers after he went tumbling again.
Did one single flip, did not landed back on the halo.
And then, so this happened further up the grid. Try that again.
Our session got moved on us.
There we go. We'll try that again.
Yeah.
So where did this all kick off?
Brian Brizzi, I think, got bumped here. You can see the red and yellow.
Oh, right
further
back. It happened around Brizzi, didn't it?
Yeah, Brizzi also involved in that. There was 15 cars.
Here we go.
You're probably right along with Brizzi.
This would be a pretty good shot here.
If you look at the red and yellow car behind him, you see
right there you saw it.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh man.
And that's what caused the chaos in the back there.
And then Catlin sliding on his roof, and he's going to barrel roll it into the turn 1 barriers. And then while all this is going on, Alex Cofford going to take one of the most holy cow, look at the Marshall on the right hand side. Unfazed.
Yeah.
And then I can't even begin to count the rolls as he goes flying into turn number 1, hops on the catch. I thought that car was going to clear the fence and go into the woods.
I thought it was too. There's been a couple times I thought the car was going to catch it, and it hasn't yet.
Unreal. This is going to be at speed with the wreck, and I wanted to kind of look at this one from a broader angle here. And, well, this is still up front, but we're going to try to get a look here at a broader angle on this whole wreck, because I want to be able to get a proper look at how all of this went down.
I believe.
It wasn't just cover. There was a good, 8-9 cars collected in this giant crash coming into turn number 1. So that's where it starts. And then behind, more cars all just came piling in. Evan Campbell got hopped up into the air. Eric Ronenberg took a bit of a ride.
Aaron Thacker also has clocked him being involved, especially that second spin with Eric Ronenberg.
And then we'll slow this one down and we'll let you count the rolls for yourself, because this is one of those wrecks where you got to see it to believe it.
Oh.
Flies up, clears Jake Kasich, and this is where it begins. So slams into the Armco. There's 1. Pirouetting up on his roof. There's 2. Lands on the left rear. We now got 3. Ron Wolf just manages to skate through. We're up to 4. Ron Wolf gets collected. Now we're up to 5, to 6, 7, on top of the tire barriers. Still at about 7.5. Nearly takes out the Lesmo 1 camera. Gonna go into 8. And then tumbles down for 9. I think about 9.5. No, we're gonna get 10. 10.5 rolls for Alex Cofford.
That's
and
where
he slams down on top of the halo. And Chris Bright did a phenomenal job to escape that wreck unharmed.
Mm-hmm.
It was a wild sight.
Say both him and Scott Fleming both had, I think, very successful, danger avoidance ones.
There we go. I just found Chris Bright. Let's ride on board with Bright and what he saw on approach to this incident.
I think he clocked that almost incident earlier and then started.
Oh boy, that is how do you even react to something like that taking place right in front of you?
I believe you just keep your head down and hope the car doesn't come swinging back at you at that point. You plant the car as best you can away from it.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I still want to find out what properly happened back here in the field. So let's we'll take one more look as well at that other crash that happened just a little ways up the road from the right with the number 13.
Yeah.
Of Tom Vidal. Right there, Vidal got turned by Austin Tucker hard into the wall.
Yeah.
That is what started this whole mess. And then as they come around, chaos, carnage, and oblivion for several
there's no time for...
Oh, boy.
Oh. No time for Brooks Clayton or any of them really to react as that car comes shooting back across in front of all of them.
And that takes us just in time to the starting grid of the main event here this afternoon. Well, time to do it all again for a whole hour. And, boy, hold on for a wild one. It's Castro and King starting things off on pole position. Then it's Ryan Murphy and Jason Lee. You got Henry Morris, you got Gabriel Gonzalez. And from there, you have Aaron Thacker and Justin Hall. Giovanni Romano and Scott Fleming come home in 9th and 10th here this afternoon with Chris Bright and Alexander Bueller, the drivers that finished 1 and 2 in the main event, starting down at 11th and 12th. From there, it's Ryan Verhulst, Ron Wolf, Chris Flams, Tyler Augustino, Austin Farr, Jake Kasich, and more. with the field already starting to rev up their engines. They are all raring to go here this afternoon. Tucker, Babcock, Carlton, Beckman, By, Clay Thibodeau, Brissy, Kaplan, Ronneberg, Melhoff, Bruzy, Lieberman, Cover, Gamble, and Purcell close out the 33-car field here this afternoon. For the first time, I have to actually say, Ben, I'm genuinely terrified entering this main event.
Which is surprising because we actually took... There's less track here than the last time we were here.
Oh, boy. Well, can you imagine if we actually did run the oval?
I think it would have been both way more fun, but cars that are not... Well, I mean, you can do it with IndyCar, but like these are definitely ones that I think would react equally as explosively as IndyCar does in the oval section, if that was the case.
Well, the field getting set to go here this afternoon. Now we're camper guys, after receiving some mild therapy after that race, are raring to go. I'm sure the marshals have been replaced, or at least their fire suits have been replaced. And we're ready to do it all over again. 1 hour of racing action. Going to kick off here from Autodromo Monza. It's go, go, go! As Jeremy Castro gets away well from Alex King as they rocket down the front straightaway. Do we make it through turn number 1 this time without incident?
I'm going to say no. Because I'm going to hope to be wrong.
Well, we made it to turn 1. No problem so far. So the field coming up and around through Curva Grande, and now fanning out, still 2 by 3 as we rocket in towards the second chicane of the racetrack, side by side for the lead, cutting across the grass, and can everyone get through safe and sound? How about that? Never mind! 2 cars off the road. It's Bright and Beckman off the road, but otherwise, honestly,
no.
Okay, well, hear me out. Compared to the sprint, a tame opener.
A much more tame opener involving only about 5 cars this time instead of something more closer to 8 or 9. It's improvements. It's percentages. It's what matters.
Here they come into Ascari. This has been a big trouble spot today. 2 cars already into the barriers. 1 more out wide and off the road. And we're going to see if they can all get around him cleanly. Looking like they've managed to do so, more or less. But it's a madness down the straightaway. 1 car's into the grass. One Wolf is slow. Middle of the straightaway here. Oh, and another car off the road.
Aaron Thacker.
Into the wall. Going to go Aaron Thacker. Look at how out wide. Stefan Purcell is going to take this one. Sorry, Gabriel Gonzalez is going to take this one through the Parabolica. And down the straight. Lap 1 is in the books.
That it is. Jeremy Castro unable to hold on to the lead as he had an issue in Ascari.
Don't take it 4. I know they're thinking about it. Don't take it 4. It's not going to work. It just isn't.
Do it. It definitely won't. Do it.
Coming around, 2 by. All the way up and around, and oh my good lord, as there's still 3 by 3. Back down the straight. Jake Kasich slams into a shot. 1 car's out wide. Look out, as it's going to be Chris Flams. He gets back onto the racetrack. Quick course correction. Gets him back onto the circuit. Oh, 1 car going around. It's going to be the 13. 1 car bouncing up into the air. He keeps it on all 4 wheels, though. And it was Brooks Clayton that went off, and he was the one that was bouncing through the gravel. Luckily, the car did not dig in. And we remain in hot pursuit. Jason Lee has just gotten Alex King for the lead into Ascari.
Oh, a fantastic.
Oh, and around goes Kasich.
There. Oh. Manages not to take anybody out, though.
Good
Finds
job.
the gap to slide that car through.
Oh, there we go, though. 2 more. Getting put
Chris
together.
Flams.
Oh, what a great save. Never mind. Never mind. Flams into the wall. Flams into the wall as the field trying to sort this out.
Oh, my gosh.
Good flick spin. Gets it back rolling. Oh, Alex King with problems. King is lost at the Parabolica. He's going to drop out from 2nd place. Jason Lee now unopposed by 1.9 seconds.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting start. Gabriel Gonzalez setting the fastest lap amongst all this as these drivers try to get these cars back into the actual racing surface.
Double file. Jake Kasich, Henry Morse. Oh, my word, as well, they're going to keep up the fight here. Oh, no! No, it's not going to go well! Morse has been taken out! Look out as Justin Hall just skates through the middle there! Still shredded in the field! Oh, my good God! Oh, my God! Ryan Murphy catapults over him. Madole off the road, insult to injury. I was waiting for that to happen. I knew sooner or later they were going to roll Snake Eyes going double file, and it just happened.
I'm still so impressed that it only, out of all those cars that saw that quick thinking, saved all but one. So I think it was fantastic work that there's only 2 cars involved in that, not 20 cars.
Who was the first car that went spearing off the road there?
I think it was Henry Morse initially.
I think you're right.
And that was the initial contact that had, and then he went bouncing back across, managed to find the gap again, much like Jake Gasick, and then he ended up sitting in the middle of the road, and everybody else was just bobbing left and right, and then Ryan Murphy, unfortunately, rolled the second Snake Eyes to bounce and not find the right way to go around that car.
Well, once again, we'll look at that incident once everything here has calmed down a bit more, but we're 3 wide, headed back down the straight to Curva Grande as Alex King, contact again! He's able to gather it up as King, Crawford, and Farr all almost rebounded off of each other. Second file this time around as they approach the first Lesbo.
Yeah, Austin Farr looking for that inside line, gets it done to get around Alex King. Pulls off the gravel surface that has become that exit of Lesmo 1.
Oh boy. The adrenaline in my heart is going right now.
I think I'm gonna end up having my face hurt from the smile I have in fear of, like, being in the sim racing seat isn't that bad. Me, who is somebody who drives in VR, that's gotta be a fantastically unsettling feeling to watch the world go spinning in front of your eyeballs.
And that's what a situation, right? You know that Henry Morse could feel it coming, right? Because you're stuck, you're stranded in the middle of the field, facing the wrong way. Sooner or later, someone's not going to see you, and it's just, it's a feeling of dread of waiting to see how long will it take before that finally happens.
Henry Morse, however, coming back to the fastest lap immediately after.
I lived. Oh my goodness, Scott Fleming nearly taking out Gabriel Gonzalez for the 3rd place spot there as other drivers fire through.
Oh, Gabriel Gonzalez. He has
no.
found the barrier, trying to exit Lesmo 1. Got on the gas too early while still on the gravel.
Careful, what are you doing? Oh my goodness.
Darren By getting just taken out by Jordan Babcock.
That one actually does kind of anger me a little bit. That was completely unnecessary.
I mean, I don't think it's that hard to look left and see all the cars still working their way through.
He didn't even have to look left. He was facing backwards. They were in front of him.
That's fair.
Oh, boy. Well, here we go. Jake Kaysen taking to the inside of Evan Campbell and Darren Bogg. Going to go 3 wide into the Parabolica, make that move forward. Let's look at the Henry Morse crash that happened a little while ago. And this happened as they came all the way around into the second chicane on the racetrack. King tried to put it 2 wide. Around he goes, slams into the barriers, and he got absolutely smoked by Alex Crawford. And then, as the field comes around, there was the tumble for Ryan Murphy.
The number of flips for that one, yeah.
Hey, there he goes off the road again, and well, we'll count him. Here comes Murphy. That yellow car, bottom of the screen.
Oh.
Completely unsighted and nowhere to go. He's committed. Count him.
Oh.
There's going to be one right there. Took him a while even to get the first lap done. He kind of flew over and upside down on his top for a while there. So there's 1. There's 2, 3. Now 4. There's 5. Not as many. I thought it would be more than Alex Cofford. I guess I was wrong, though. 6?
6? Yeah. I think
5 3/4.
Like,
there we go. There's 6.
Yeah. The spin that happened, I think, on his roof made it look so much worse.
Oh, it obviously, right? And that's not to say that 6 flips isn't bad. But Cofford almost doubled that. Well, has got that by nearly double earlier this race.
Yeah. Man.
As Jimmy Castro off the road momentarily, unfortunate for him. And then just a little while later, it was Gabriel Gonzalez, right, who had that big issue.
Yep, got on the power too early, exiting Lesmo 1. See it here, just got past Scott Fleming, and then just puts it into the barrier, trying to get on that power.
And now this is inexcusable here, the stunt that he pulls here. Because you can see all these guys coming back on the racetrack. There was never a gap. That is terrible. I'm sorry.
There's nowhere for Jordan Babcock to go, or Darren by proxy.
I don't know what Gonzalez thought was going to happen if he pulled back onto the racetrack.
I don't know either.
All of that, by the way, in 10 minutes.
We are, I think, in for a big one, especially if we get a code 69 tonight.
Off the road is Melhot. Looking like no hard, no foul, though. He'll get it back sorted and return to the racetrack. Meanwhile, Agostino and Farr, 1 by, as they try to bump draft up their way to Scott Fleming.
I think that's been the plan. They've done it the past couple laps, it seems like. 2 of them trying to close the gap. You see so far trying his best.
Just be sure to get him square.
Without causing issues. Just behind them, Alex Cofford resetting the fastest lap time. Similar situation.
This is with Ron Wolf, and this is what side-by-side looks like headed into the into that second chicane. As well, you see Cofford backing out there. I think he's done playing games with that for a little while here.
Yeah, I think he also is seeing what has happened when the too wide through there does not work out.
Well, he was right behind that crash with Lieberman, right? So he was lucky to have missed it.
Yes, yeah, he was just behind him. The rough race gets rougher for those two. A little bit of note that at the front of the field, Scott Fleming has slowly chipped away that lead down to under a second.
Yes, he has. Oh boy, Fleming off the road just gets away by Tucker. But yeah, Jason Lee, he got out there with the 1.9 second lead early on, right? But he has been very, very slowly but surely reeling this gap back in. So we're about to get a fight for the lead back on our hands before too long. What we do have right now, we fight for 5th.
That we do. As Ron Wolf, Alex King seem to go too wide through turn number 1, Cover Grande. And Alex Cofford waiting in the wings behind those two for it to maybe work out, maybe not work out. Please.
Well, as Alex King keeps up the battle here, Ron Wolf going to go at it here with Alex Cofford. You've still got other drivers making some headway as well. Jimmy Castro, oh boy, almost getting turned around by Jordan Babcock as he kind of hopped up on top of the curbing there as they came around through the second chicane, the It's not very, no, it's not very into Alta. I'm thinking Imola for Alta. But right now, Justin Hall is still keeping up a strong fight here as he tries to pull up to Jake Case. You've also got Copper back to Carlton, a pack of 4, not too far separate. And for the lead, Jason Lee has been caught by Scott Fleming, and Alex King is off the road and into the fence.
Rough one there. The battle for the lead now in full force. Almost a second a lap slower for just Jason Lee over Scott Fleming this time. I have to say it's going to be interesting when they get into the second, where the second chicane should be, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
Not where it is. And if they decide to go too wide through that.
Well, with them going side by side, that has reeled Augustino and Farr back into draft range. Here they nearly come together in the middle of the straightaway on the lead up to the chicane. As Scott Fleming maintains the lead for the time being. And this is what happened to Alex King. As he's just going to lose the back end and go spearing off and noses it into the wall. So, not a hard crash.
Yeah.
Well, right now, Fleming, Lee, Augustino, Farr. 4-car fight for the top spot, but Jason Lee with caught in the dirty air from behind. He's going to drop back, and got to be careful here, right? Because you're at risk now of re-losing that draft, and the last 10 minutes of effort would be out the window.
Yeah, it certainly would be. And with how little wing these cars are running, that dirty air is going to impact them, I would say, a lot more in terms of how much it unsettles the car, because the car is not getting pushed back down by the air.
Well, 3 wide as they head down the straightaway now for the number 2 spot. And this is exactly what Scott Fleming wants to see in this mirror, right? Because that means that they are no longer closing in, because they're more focused about fighting each other than they are in helping each other. So Fleming going to keep the fight going here as Jason Lee tucks in line. As the field going to get themselves a bit more sorted while they are closing in. 2 angles of that lap 1 incident here. Justin Hall having a pretty wild avoidance here. He now runs to the 9th place spot after he avoided the Morse crash back on lap number 3. Was right behind the crash as it developed right in front of him. He saw Henry Morris fly right across his nose.
Yeah, great heads-up driving as Henry Morris hadn't finished coming to a stop. You see that quick thinking there from Justin Hall to keep that car from not running into. Great not target fixation, the opposite of target fixation for him. And
yeah.
I think it's Giovanni Romano, who also had a fantastic job getting through it. This is probably, he comes arrives on the scene as Henry Morris comes to a stop. And we'll see Catlin dive in, and then he'll dive out.
Good grief. And while all this was going on, we just had a crash actually involving Justin Hall and Henry Morse. They have both had a bit of a moment here. So this is coming down the straightaway. And I'm looking out for Henry Morse as well, seeing if this may be related. There goes Hall, and yeah, it's related all right.
It is, but it's as Henry Morris is trying to avoid Justin Hall, it gets into the wheel of Giovanni Romano, so it is unfortunately one that is, I don't think. Again, Henry Morris had a whole lot of wiggle room.
Oh man, boy.
Good.
It's nerve-wracking to watch every time.
It always is. It's always interesting to see the amount of space they give, and then as they go bumping over, that drainage, I'd say, opening that usually is used for runoff from the regular course, how much that unsettles the car and brings them back together.
Well, if you are tuning in, I completely forgot, and I apologize for this, I completely forgot to welcome on our viewers from the Premier Sim Race Sim Game Expo Truck Series. It has been a ride, I think is the most apt description of this race. It has been a journey and a half, and I'm a bit surprised that it's tamed down as much as it has, but I guess when you get a crash or a race right where you need a big drafting battle that has some of these better fights, and it's so easy to have these fights fall apart. Yeah, it was inevitable. We had the same thing happen when we were racing here in GT4 machinery a couple seasons back as well, even in the wet. So, speaking of the wet, we were expecting rain today. Rain did not show up. It is right now a bit overcast, 81 degrees Fahrenheit. That humidity is rising though, right? And it's up to 87%. Yep. That's not far away from rain humidity. What's the weather forecast looking like, Ben?
The weather forecast, unfortunately, is very disappointing. The highest it gets to is 13%. There is nothing even remotely on radar to allow us to get hopeful, or at least for me to get hopeful, to relay to you that there is a chance of rain. We still see that it is sunny in some spots. And I think, therefore, we shouldn't get our hopes too high. I think so very disappointed because I specifically asked them for rain.
So basically, we're going to just talk about rain for the rest of this race as if we're Sky Sports pundits.
Yes, absolutely. that is how we'll talk about it.
Well, Farr and Agostino continuing to have their own little scrap there, but I think they're, again, more focused on trying to reel that gap down into Scott Fleming after it got, frankly, a bit ruined by Whoa, hold on.
Whoa.
Jordan Babcock. Oh, now he's into the... What in the heck is going on back here?
Let's go see. Taking a look back. Let's see here.
He's by himself.
We'll see Darren Bai rejoin the track right in front of him here. See the lines off there.
Oh,
see that car rejoin. He avoids. Has an amazing drift here. But tries to get back on the power after going through the grass and spins it.
And I'm sorry, it was too close. I can't count that in the Save of the Month video.
It was epic up until the start.
There you go. Well, Cofford and Fleming are, Cofford and Lee still technically working together back here as they try to run down Farr and Agostino a little ways up the road. They've also got Carlton and Wolf behind. I do find it interesting that we're seeing these kind of two-car tandems starting to form up, kind of like the stock car racing with the Gen 5 cars in 2010, 2011, right? Super Speedway. It's interesting the parallels you can draw between these two.
It absolutely is. I think the biggest difference is we see these cars turning right and left, not just left.
And braking.
But, and braking and doing a little bit more. But I think the parallels is very much there. The cars seem to benefit a lot from having a draft partner for both the car in front as well as the car, I would say, in the draft zone. The ability to just kind of, I think, give a little bit of a bump draft on these straights really helps out. Alex Crawford diving into pit lane. First driver to seem to do so on the pit cycle. Chris Bright also diving in.
And there, to be clear, there is no Code 69 that has been announced yet. This is going to be on pure fuel strategy here. Normally, we'll see a big exodus to the pits as Code 69 is set to come out. This is not one of those situations, though.
Nope. I see nothing on the Code 69 window other than it being open. So we'll see how this develops. Tom Adole, Brian, I can't imagine that name is correct. Well, Brian Britzy.
It's not, I don't think. I think it's...
I see it in all caps on my timing ticker, which is why I'm not 100% on it.
What car number is it?
It's going to be car number 33.
You're looking at Brian Brucey.
Brucey, okay.
What we got?
Brian Murphy, Justin Brissi, and Jeremy Castro all just diving into pit lane.
Bird's a bit of a busy place right now, and I think that makes this race a pretty easy two-stopper.
I think it does. I think it'll be an even easier two-stopper if we have a Code 69 window open up. I think.
Yeah, you just saw Jimmy Castro stall the car trying to get out of his stall.
Oh, man.
And here comes the battle for fourth place coming down the pit road.
Yeah, battle for, I think, P1, P4, and then a good portion of the field all diving in this lap. Scott Fleming, Tiger Agostino, Jake Kasich, Jason Lee, Tyler Carlton, Giovanni Romano, Alex King, Alexander Bueller, Evan Campbell, Darren Bai, Henry Lieberman, and pretty much the rest of the field. I can keep going, but you can see all the cars on pit lane.
It's easier to list the cars at this point that are not in pit road.
Yes.
Which pretty much includes the top 3, Verhulst, Clayton, and Gonzalez. Those are the only 6 cars that have not come down pit road at this point.
That is correct.
So stop number 1 here. Right now, Austin Farr continuing to lead the way here this afternoon, looking for his first, one car off the road, but looking for his first career win here in beer league competition this afternoon. Wolf sitting about 4 seconds behind him. Again, all those drivers were in different battle packs even before all of this panning down. I got to be honest, I don't think Farr's got too much to worry about in regards to heading back onto the racetrack. So I think he'll be in for a bit of a good ride, and he's continuing to stay at one more because he's got some draft from Jeremy Castro in front of him.
Yeah, I wonder if he's trying to make a one-stop race work. Because I think if he can do so, he'll make... given where the rest of the field seems to be pitting in, I would have to imagine it's definitely a stretch to make it happen as both Ron Wolf and Henry Morris make their way in. They've made it to go 25 minutes here, but they still have another 5 minutes worth of racing. That's 3 more laps thereabouts for Austin Farr to make it towards pit lane. It's a very lofty goal, I think.
Well, we got a fight here going on for what will end up being 4th place here as Crawford, Kasich, Carlton. River 3 drafted all the way down the pit straightaway and into Curva Grande. Jake Kasich maintaining his strong momentum. A pit stop window from when you leave to when you're, before it ends to when you leave pit road. There we go. Looking to be anywhere from the realm of 31 to 33 seconds. So I think Farr might lose the lead and he might drop back to this battle for 4th here. Because even if he gets out in front of Scott Fleming, he's got to get up to speed still before he can actually catch the draft.
And certainly, I think if he's lucky, he might snag onto the tail end of Tyler Augustino back into the fight that he was with prior to the pit cycle. But I get the feeling, like you said, he'll probably end up in with Jake Kasich and Alex Crawford, Tyler Carlton for that battle for 4th.
And with him pitting 3 minutes, almost 4 minutes prior to halfway, that guarantees here that we are not able to go the distance. So right now, Scott Fleming set to become the next race leader here.
Crawford has spun it coming out of Ascari as well. So that battle for 4th now down to Jake Kasich and Tyler Carlton. Just got on the gravel trying to exit Ascari and spun it around.
Here comes Scott Fleming. Austin Farr is out of pit road. Hold on. He actually might have jumped him here in the pit stop window by staying out. He has. Yeah. Austin Farr to the lead of the race.
We have Tyler Augustino really in a battle with Scott Fleming, which he had been about a second behind both of those drivers, Tyler Augustino and Austin Farr. 5 seconds on the jacks versus the 6.67 seconds of Scott Fleming. This is Alex Crawford, who had that unfortunate spin there. Yep.
Right into the tires, although it's back onto the racetrack relatively quickly. Well, these guys can still catch Farr for the lead, right? Because they can work together. Farr's got no help up there.
Yeah, at the moment, I think it's possible, especially with if they don't fight each other, which it looks like there might be wanting to do, or at least Scott Fleming wants to try to do, which could prove interesting if they keep that up.
You run back into the problem of, both drivers want to get their way out there, but they can't agree on who's going to be the leader. Oh, whoa! Chris Flam's upside down into the opening Lesman. He's going to flip back over onto all 4s. But a big incident for Chris Flams. Like you say, Jason Lee also off the road. This is, we'll start with Lee, the easy one, and then we'll go to find out what in the hay happened to Flams. Oh, lost it on the way in on that one. And, and this was Flams a few seconds earlier.
Flam, we'll see him go into the second chicane, that straight line through it.
Scott Bruzy right next to him.
Yep, I think he just had a little too much steering input. You can see that car just spin and then collect Brian Bruzy as well. And it's going to pop. And there we go.
Only actually one rollover, though, because he remained on the halo for the entire duration of that run.
Absolutely. So,
and
a low one.
I'm sorry, did Evan Campbell just get bump and run by Justin Hall?
It looked like it.
Oh, they're going to hit again there in the middle of the chicane, wheel to wheel. And that is enough to send the message, and Justin Hall gets through.
Justin Hall looking to get those spots back from his earlier incident with Henry Morris.
Now Jason Lee going to look for the inside line as Greg Beckman now has gone into the fence as he's going to get himself back up and sorted. Evan Campbell doing everything he can to try and make some of that momentum work for him. As we officially hit halfway in what was supposed to be a slippery slipstream showdown.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a slippery slipstream showdown, but with slipstream still being a part of it, not really slippery. Scott Fleming really capitalizing on the fuel strategy, not having to save as much, or is looking to save as much, as Austin Farr just swings by.
I wonder if Austin Farr is trying to save fuel here, because he lost more time than you would expect for a guy in a drafting battle, right?
You definitely think so, but he also was at the front end of it on top of, I think, trying to do a fuel strategy.
Well, the fuel's not going to work. It's hard to save that much fuel in a race like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the end goal is there, other than trying to hit fuel numbers, but also being at this front end, no draft to really help capitalize on time. But now that he is behind Scott Fleming, it's also possible this could shift once again coming out of Parabolica, especially if they're going to run it that wide. Speaking of running wide.
Yeah, Alex Coffer kind of being caught here by Darren Bai as they go double file. Bai's going to get around him, and now here comes Farr. Yeah, Farr's saving fuel. He slowed up.
Mm-hmm.
So Farr's trying to save the fuel to make this a one-stop race. I'm not convinced. I'm really not. He pitted a good... You would need to save, like, we're talking 3-4 laps worth of fuel to make that work.
Absolutely. I think also if the Code 69 window happens, if there's a Code 69, that might be the other thing he might need to get it done.
Yeah, a Code 69 actually would be brilliant for him.
That's what I was thinking as well when I looked at the kind of where he was pitting in from. You can see Scott Fleming trying not to let him get the drafts going out of Lesmo 2 into Ascari.
Brian Bruce, by the way, has just come down for his second stop. He recognized he couldn't make it to the end, so he figured, well, I'll just pit now then and be guaranteed to go the distance. So he is into the pits. Now, I wonder if Tyler Augustino is going to be looking to save fuel as well, or if, this could actually help Farr if Augustino gets around and fights with Scott Fleming. That way he can save fuel and they won't be able to break away from him because they're too busy fighting each other to worry about it.
It is very possible. I think that'd be the ideal move there. I'm curious if Augustino's also going to try to do the one stopper as well, looking for that Code 69 window to happen. Though I think that's even more of a loftier goal than Austin Farr, who pitted 2 laps after Augustino and Fleming.
Well, they'll keep on it, but I think Augustino is also trying to save some fuel here at the same time. So it's a single file run up there for the time being.
Well, I mean, even if they save fuel, it's less fuel they have to take at the end versus what Scott Fleming might have to take. Already got that the pit time down by a second between those two drivers. So it's possible as
well, side by side here with Crawford and Henry Lieberman behind them. Justin Hall nearby and Jason Lee all embroiled in a tightly knit pack as well. A 5-car train starting the loose 5-car train. Really, it's more of a 2 and then a 3, but there's about a second bridge in the 2. So they're more or less within driving distance of each other, and they definitely will be if Lieberman battles back with Crawford again.
Yeah, if these two keep going at it, that'll just reel in for Justin Hall, Darren By, and Jason Lee, who's just a little ways behind him. But let's see if, Henry Lieberman all over the road in Ascari. Just going to break that draft by a little bit. Not enough to actually break it, but going to bridge that gap further as Justin Hall is now within a second of Henry Lieberman. Has to fend off a Darren By that wants the inside of Parabolic.
Trying to fend him off, but not going to be able to do so. Top 3 still embroiled in this 3-way fight, but it does look like they are more working together, and that is actually slowing, allowing for Jake Kasich to start to, little by little, reel these guys in as well. Aaron Thacker and Carson Catlin, meanwhile, they're going to go side by side down the front straightaway. They're not the only ones, as Justin Hall finally goes on offense on Darren By.
Yeah, and Austin Tucker swings on the outside of Carson Catlin and Aaron Thacker to make it 3 wide for a moment, but now is in front of Carson Catlin.
And a single pile of that before that chicane, and I think a bit of a wise move on that one as this field keeps up a steady fight. And Augustino dropping back, actually. Oh, idea. What do you think if Augustino is doing this deliberately, trying to pick up Jake Kasich so they can get another car to help them save fuel?
That would make sense. I think that would also make sense, especially because they are, I believe, no, excuse me, I have it backwards. They're not teammates. I was going to say they were teammates, but they are not.
24 minutes. 9 minutes to go before the Code 69 window is closed officially. Jake Kasich just barely outside of Slipstream range. Augustino is going to get him up here, though, by braking early, coming into the Lesbos and Ascari, and then using the draft to reel himself back in and hopefully tow Jake Kasich with him, because he doesn't want to lift in the middle of the straightaway. He's at risk of losing the Slipstream himself, and then you got a whole new problem.
Yeah. So I think you said it very well there. I think that's going to be the plan there. Throughout Lesmo, you can see that timer, a gap between them to the leader.
Yeah,
it's slow down. Yeah, that is the plan there. It looks like he's done it successfully as that gap continues to close going into Ascari.
So here's the next big question. Yeah, Augustine is doing to get Kasich up to help them save fuel. Is Kasich on the same game plan as they are, though?
We'll have to see.
Technically a 4-way fight for the lead now. As they pull him up. Tyler Carlson, 5th car in line back there in the Mario number 45. 2.3 seconds off of the next closest car in front of him, so a bit of a distance before he'd be able to get up here as well, and I don't think it'd be worth it for these guys trying to slow up and bring him in there as well.
Yeah, I get the feeling that'd be a hard one to do.
Yeah. Oh, Carl's going to make it. He's in the pit road. Or Augustino, sorry.
Yeah, Augustino diving in, getting his final fuel stop done. Interested to see where that puts the rest of those top runners in relation, and where does Tyler Agostino come back out, and can he pick up someone to draft with afterwards?
I think that seals the deal, honestly, and confirms that these guys cannot make it to the end.
No, they certainly can. Not without a code 69, but that window is rapidly closing.
Augustino exits the pits all the way down at 17. That's about to be 19th. He's being caught by 2, and he's got no way to keep touch with them.
Yeah, not really. See if he's able to catch him into turn number 1.
Oh, there it
is!
Code
69.
End of the lap. Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
Talk about poor timing.
Or great timing, depending on
who
you are in this.
I was going to say, not for
Well, he now gets to pass all of them because he doesn't have to pit.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Like,
it could work
sure,
out.
It drops down the order, but like all of these drivers, and I think maybe the only exception to this is going to be Austin Farr, but I think that's still, again, a bold move there if he tries to make the one-stop work. All of them, I think, will come down to pit lane and, you know, get that stop done.
Yeah.
Yes, that includes Austin Farr.
Oh,
so,
boy.
Oh, Jake Kasich.
And a
Oh, no.
Oh, my goodness. The top three all crashed coming into pit road. Oh, no.
Oh, no. And the Gabriel Gonzalez getting marked with
How in the world have you managed
flag
that?
there. Oh, my goodness. But I think, you know, this puts Tyler Agostino at the front of the pack.
It does.
If he doesn't come in, which I don't know why he would, he just got it done. I think he's set to go to the distance. Oh man. So that puts him right back in the fight with.
He won't get the lead, but he will get a top 5 still, which is better than nothing.
Oh, certainly.
So.
Oh, he beat Tyler, Jake Kasich and Scott Fleming out of the pit lane.
This is going to be the pit stop entry here with Jake Kasich, Agostino, and Austin Farr. Kasich running in third still after this. And I mean, just gets in there a bit too hot, and they all kind of just run into each other.
Yeah. I'm so surprised none of them got unsafe pit entries for that.
I'm surprised they kept the top 3.
That too.
Well, the safety car is out for the first time officially here this afternoon, as we will look set to see who will start where. We'll be back in a moment on Green Flag TV. Stay with us.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Flag TV, where racing action is set to kick off in just a few more moments here. This one is going to be a wild one. My name is Rempel alongside Acinni. 16 and a half minutes to go. And, well, they were broken up for so long, but now that fuel's not a question. It's an all-out dogfight to the end.
That it certainly is. Austin Farr winning that pit lane game by just a little bit. Tyler Agostino, who pitted before the cycle, really getting, I think, the best hand he could have been dealt, being just behind Austin Farr, who he's been drafting with for most of this race prior to the pit cycle, coming out of the pit cycle, and back through it again. So I think he's in a great spot to keep working with Austin Farr, as well as Jake Kasich and Scott Fleming. But I'm curious to see when, much like we see a lot of oval racing, when do these friendship and alliances end as we get close to the checkered flag?
And critically here as well, right? We are not going to get it on the code 69 because the window's only got 40 seconds left of it. So unless it ends like now, and then like unless it ends now and we get it immediately after, we're not getting it. So
no,
that's going to lead to this being quite the sight. Do you reckon they're going to send him here on this straightaway, or are they going to wait till after Ascari or after Parabolica?
I could see any of those plus Curva Grande if they wanted, depending on how safe they want.
Well, because it's bot
I think after
beside.
Ascari makes the most sense. Yeah, I assume the bot would probably put it closer to the start-finish straight.
You know what? You're probably right. It probably will be out of the parabolic.
Get ready. Code 69 will end soon, so I'm guessing.
All right, here we go. Yeah, it'll be an Ascari, which means expect for Austin Farr to jump here in the middle of Ascari to try and get away. Yep, there it is. Trying to get away from the trap, but that's not going to be effective at all because we're back to green flag racing, and Austin Farr has taken off with the lead. And the window's officially closed.
The window closes, green flags are out, and there is going to be a look from Jake Kasich going up the inside of Parabolica on Tyler Agostino. Tyler Agostino going to hold on to it, but swings it out wide, which gives a gap to Austin Farr coming out of the final corner. The rest of the field, pretty calm.
For now. There's still time. Headed down.
I don't know if you can hear the amount of uncertainty in my voice.
Oh, look at the field behind them, right? That's where the real danger is at here. Austin Farr looking to hang on. Augustino and Casey going to go double file here. Are we going to have anybody looking for 3 wide? We sure do. We got a few cars in back looking for 3 wide here, coming down the straightaway and into Curva Grande. The question is, are we going to keep everything safe and sound as we head down into the second chicane? An attack for the lead. And Jake Kasich around the outside of Farr. We got a couple cars around into Curva Grande, but right now they're still 2 wide for the top spot.
That they are. Austin Farr still holding on to it for the moment, but they're still wheel to wheel as they go into Lesmo 2. More cars sliding off in Lesmo 1. They all seem to be going the right way. Austin Farr finally winning that one out.
So Austin Farr retains the race lead for the time being. Jake Kasich still in number 2, looking again for the race lead into Ascari, this time by attacks into Ascari of the mixed results so far today. Looking like this one's is gonna work to his advantage. Kasich keeps it on the racetrack, and he clears for the lead.
That he does, but he has to keep in mind the defense for.
Oh, look out! Thacker behind, hard into the tire wall.
Yep. There's a look from Tyler Agostino for the inside.
Oh, and
goes to run it way out wide. Austin Farr getting shoved out.
Talk about
Scott
getting bullied. The FIA would like a word with Scott Fleming after that one.
Well, things were Tyler Agostino. Scott Fleming just got to pick up the pieces.
Agostino now going for the race lead here on Jake Kasich. Kasich lets him go, tucks in the line. I like the strategy, right? You know you're going to lose the lead. May as well get back in line and go on offense now, because how quickly can this change? Now 2 wide through Curva Grande for the lead of the race. As Kasich and Agostino double file. Are we going to look for 3 wide? Are you kidding me? 3 wide into the chicane. They're able to get it back down to 2 and just in time.
Austin Farr thinks better of trying to run it 3 wide through that chicane after hearing how badly some of the 2 wide attempts went.
And the battle continues. No holds barred, no fuel saving.
No.
Just whatever you got in the tank now. As Kasich trying to go around the outside of Agostino. Last time he cleared for the inside. This time he clears to the outside and sweeps in to take the lead again.
Yeah, good heads up from Tyler Agostino to not crash into Jake Kasich, but that's going to cause him to have a little bit of a gap going into Parabolica. as Scott Fleming looks to take the inside. Sticks it in behind Tyler Agostino. Keeps a tight line. I'm putting my head in the shoes of Giovanni Romano, who's sitting in the back of these 4 drivers. I think he's playing the waiting game, trying to make sure that this car, this pack of cars doesn't collect him.
Austin Farr looking for 3 wide for the lead, but Kasich shuts him down hard and forces Farr to push it to the front. Contact off the road, gonna go Agostino. Getting bullied out on the middle of the straightaway that time by. They're able to all keep it together. They're still 2 wide for the lead of the race. Kasich and Fleming side by side into the chicane. Austin Farr trying to find a way through. Nearly contact between the two. They get it together once again. And once more, Jake Kasich retains. Now, a quick look.
Scott Fleming is
there you go, yeah.
running out of patience. Yeah, running out of patience, but he has to find a way through without collecting himself in the process. And Austin Farr now has a great run out of Lesmo 2 into Ascari.
Scott Fleming continues to pull the fight. Agostino right behind, single file into Ascari. No surprises here. Nobody wants to go in double file into this series of corners here, so understandably so. They're going to just keep it nice and orderly there, but that's about as far as they're going to keep it orderly. Looking far, pushing Scott Fleming, trying to get him up there to Jake Kasich. Agostino looks to the inside. No Daiso to Parabolica.
Yeah, keeps that car orderly. All 4 of those drivers still within just a second of, or really almost half a second of each other as they're coming down the start-finish stretch. Look from Agostino. It's going to also keep him out of the draft. Jake Kasich moving around. Scott Fleming, Austin Farr holding on as they come down to Curva Grande once again.
Fleming maintaining that gap up in the race lead, and now Farr wants to go for the move, but he still has got Agostino and Kasich right behind him. Now he is going to look for the inside, coming down here into the second chicane as he ride upward all the way down that opening stretch and into the first Lesmo, trying to go around the outside, but Scott Fleming looking set to try and keep him at bay, and keep him at bay. It looks like he will into the second Lesmo. Maybe not quite. Far back to the point. And now Jake Kasich putting the 3 wide for the lead of the sprint. Down towards Ascari as he skittles number 11. Gonna go around the long way here into Ascari, side by side into it. And again, Jake Kasich, the Ascari master, fends off the horde to get through Ascari, but Farr's not done fighting yet. Trying to go back around the long way. No! Tucks in line. He sees a chance here. There's a gap opening up, and he wants to get them clear.
Yeah, I have to imagine that's what's going to be happening there as they get into Parabolica, trying to give them a gap to then have a duel between the 2 of them for the final spots with 8 minutes left to go. But I think the rest of the field is still too close to really allow for a gap to fully build. But that gap is increasing between those cars. It's possible, especially as Tyler Agostino and Scott Fleming go 2 wide, and then Giovanni Romano pushes by with a whole host of cars behind him.
Boy, Scott Fleming caught in the sucker hole there like he's at Daytona.
Yeah.
Nowhere to go for Fleming. No one to help him out as they're still 3 by 3 wide coming down into the towards that secondary chicane. Farr and Romano continue to work together. Here's their side-by-side each into that chicane area. They're able to still keep it together, though.
Yeah, keep together 2 wide between Henry Morse and Scott Fleming. Morse flying off the road. Give that spot back to Agostino. Jake Kasich and Austin Farr still heading up the front of the pack at the moment.
The drivers in the front are continuing to pull away, right? The gap is now up to 9/10 of a second. So far as the Tams are working for him here. As there you see Scott Fleming off the road, and Fleming's been beached. Sorry, that's Cameron Gonzalez. Gonzalez is beached.
Yeah.
He's got a part of his car is actually embedded in the Armco there, right behind him.
Especially because it keeps rebuilding into the spot.
Oh, it was caught with Jason Lee to spin him around, and then watch the left rear there. Yeah, you see part of the back end got embedded in, and he can't get it out.
Yep.
Well, he managed to wrench himself free, so he's back out on and running now, but it's too little too late at that point.
I believe so. And pairs of cars now working together.
And these,
Scott Fleming, Giovanni Romano paired up.
these guys got to really start working together. They keep battling for third, and it's like, dude, you can see the top two pulling away more and more. Work together here, and you all have a chance to win it then.
I think Ron Wolf just had a run out of Parabolica, and drafting with these two other cars it just kind of put him in an awkward spot where he had to make the most of the time.
And that's the big problem, right? The fact that, a driver gets a better run than the guy in front of him, and they think, oh, I can easily make that move for the lead coming into the next corner. And it turns out, no, it's not so easy.
No, it isn't, especially because then the people behind you have the same run that you did the previous lap.
Yeah, and then you just get all checked up like they just did in the Scari, and all of a sudden they've gone from 9/10. They've lost half a second to one corner because Ron Wolf made that move. They wouldn't have lost nearly as much if they kept a single file. Oh, contact! And off the road goes Fleming.
Crawford. Oh, and so does Giovanni Romano, also bumped into by Crawford.
Couple cars going off the row. One of them being Scott Fleming, the other being Giovanni Romano here. That was the Jason Lee incident again. This was the actual incident. There's one and there's two.
Yeah, as those wheels catch between Alex Crawford and Giovanni Romano, which leaves Ron Wolf kind of on his own on an island.
Under 5 minutes to go. Only about 3 or 4 laps are left, and frankly, Ron Wolf doesn't have nearly enough to run down. If I'm Austin Farr and Jake Kasich, I'm a lot more comfortable now if I start to battle it out, because there's no way they're going to catch you without help.
I think they're going to wait until the last minute for both of them, because I know Jake Kasich will want to make sure that he's at the front after all this, but I think Austin Farr is going to wait to pull that trigger where he doesn't have an opportunity to fire back. But that won't happen until the final lap in a couple minutes' time.
Well, the battle for 7th place on downs, still a hotly contested one, as Bueller leads the way in that little fight. So does Tyler Carlton, and it's Lieberman and King. Little ways behind them, the 9-9 Giovanni Romano. Started to make a drive at it. Here comes Henry Lieberman. Lieberman looking to the inside of Tyler Carlton. And he's going to make the move.
Manages. Yeah, gets that pass done. Now he's to figure out if he can hang out behind Alexander Bueller to try to make up more spots here.
And I believe, Fed, it is right now 3 laps to go. We'll have about a minute when we, we'll have about 2 minutes till we come back around to the start-finish line. So the timing tracks for this to be the 3 laps to go marker for this field.
Yes. Yep. Unless something drastic happens in the next 50 seconds.
Yes. Boy, as you see Lieberman getting a little bit jacked up there as well.
Oh. Tyler Carlton taking that place back. Both of them still riding behind Alexander Bueller and Tyler Augustino, just a little ways up the road, about 7/10 from Alexander Bueller. Lieberman trying to look for that pass once again. He's going to have to figure out how to get slotted in. Tyler Carlton giving him the room as they get through Ascari.
All things considered, I'm actually a bit surprised at how tame these final 15 minutes have been when you compare them to not even the opening of this race, right, but the sprint race as well.
Yeah. Well, you got to think this is also where the points get scored. So if you make a bad move and it costs you the finish you're looking for, you don't have as much time to come back. You're waiting for that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Code 69 that bunched everybody up. And if that hadn't come, that would have, I think, also recontextualized some of those moves that people have already made. But especially after the Code 69, when you know that window closes immediately after, give it a little bit more grace.
3 wide for the third place spot as Crawford slips through on Ron Wolf and Henry Morse. Ron Wolf not done fighting though. He's going to try to go back down the inside of Alex Cavalier coming into the opening Lesmo. As a result of him going around the outside, and Ron Wolf back to third.
Yep, Henry Morris having to check up to not run into Alex Crawford there just a little bit. They keep those spots available. That's a bad exit from the second Lesmo, though, for Ron Wolf.
One lap to go, coming on up here this time by. As, oh my gosh, I mean, Crawford, Morris. Oh, there we go! Crawford takes out, Crawford getting taken out there by Henry Morris, and that's going to lead to the field kind of being stranded. One more car off the road. Alex King has been black flagged for the 41. It's leaving another car off and into the Armco
Brooks
now.
Clayton. Yeah, it was Brooks Clayton that went flying through there.
And this is it. Final lap this time by. We're ready to duke it out for the win.
It's going to be interesting to see how this duel finishes out. Austin Farr waiting for that moment to pull the trigger. He's waiting.
Here it
not
is.
Anymore.
Austin.
Sides up the inside.
Austin Farr to the inside. Jake Kasich on the outside through Curva Grande. Lucky to attack him here into the second chicane. Tucks back in line, can't complete the pass. Gonna try to dive back forward again here into Lesmo 1. Trying to sling this one the long way around, and Jake Kasich yields, but he's gonna have a good run here into Ascari.
That he is coming out of Lesmo 2. He'll have the draft going into Ascari, which means he might get that opportunity to pull that outside late braking maneuver he loved to do throughout the back half of this, but he's gonna opt for the inside, which means this Ascari might get a little spicy here, depending on how Jake Kasich late on the brakes, but late on the gas even more so, keeping Austin Farr right behind him. It's going to be a duel down the finish line.
Here we go. Austin Farr going around the long way. Jake Kasich trying to tuck in line here as well. Kasich side by side into the Parabolica. Farr gonna go for the over-under here. Trying to get him on the switchback. Jake Kasich fending him off so far still. Looking for the checker flying this time by. Farr is gonna close, but Kasich hangs on for the race win here this afternoon. A great run there for Jake Kasich as he fends him off, coming to the line. Some more battles escalate here as they get down into the final portions, and what a fight that we had here this afternoon, and a couple of cars have had problems here on the final lap.
That they have, I believe, Alexander Bueller, Alex Crawford also getting black flagged on the final lap.
Oh my goodness.
There. Chris Bright also wrapped up in that one, if I'm remembering this all correctly as well.
So it started with Crawford and his black flag, and this entered in the second Lesmo. He goes down the inside of Henry Morris, and that'll do it.
Yep, and that's Crawford, Alexander Bueller, I think, also wrapped up in that. And then as he tries to get across this field, Chris Bright gets spun around as well.
Tough break for Chris Bright here this afternoon, as he just didn't really do all that much to deserve that, frankly, in this race. But a wild turn of events here this afternoon, and it's about high time that we take a rundown of your official post-race results here this afternoon from the Beer League, as it's going to be Kasich fending off Austin Farr for the race win this afternoon. Ron Wolf coming home number 3, Augustino in 4th, and it becomes Carlton, Madole, Hall, Factor by, and Morse for the top 10, Ben.
Yeah, in 11th, it's going to be Giovanni Romano, Alexander Bueller, Scott Fleming, Henry Learman, and Evan Campbell are your top 15. Jason Lee, Greg Beckman, Austin Tucker, Brooks Clayton, and Carson Catlin all ending up in the top 20.
Adam Joseph Elhaw comes home 21st, and it's Burrows in 22nd. Brian Castro of Racine will be the last cars on the lead lap. Then it's Crawford, King, Murphy, Gonzalez, and Flams for 21st through 30th.
Brian Britzi is going to be 31st there, alongside Jordan Babcock, Blake Gambrell, Eric Ronenberg, and Stefan Purcell. All of those drivers will not believe finished the race.
What an intense series of dogfights we had here this afternoon. A race for the ages here on this one. Some of the most chaotic and wild racing we have seen in the history of this league here this afternoon, as we'll look set to give a chit chat here to the drivers that come home, numbers 1, 2, and 3. And we will start with Jake Kasich, the race winner, coming home number 1 here at the end of the night. Jake, an intense race here for you, and you got a bit of help there from Asafar to help you break away from the rest of the field. At what point, though, did you think he was going to be making that move for the lead?
You know, I was waiting the last 3 laps. I knew it was going to be somewhere in there. I saw he didn't make a move on the second to last lap, and I was like, oh, he's going to do something in the last lap. I really thought he was going to kind of hold off until Ascari there and wait to do it there, where I kind of took it back. But he took it early, and it was a good run from him. It was really tight between us. It was a lot of fun.
It's a very different style of racing. It looked like there was a lot of fuel saving going on there on the way down to that first Code 69. Were you guys all trying to make a one-stop strategy work, or were you just trying to hold on until the Code 69 came out?
You know, I think for the guys who kind of started at the front, were running at the front, it would have made a lot of sense to kind of really try and fuel save and sort of go for that one stop. It was always going to be kind of difficult, if not impossible, to do a one stop. But, you know, I was running from the back of the field. I think I started like 22nd or something. And so I was just kind of pushing the whole time. I sort of fuel saved a little bit right before my second stop, right before the Code 69, but it was sort of not necessary, just with how powerful the draft was. It's really more important to stay in the draft and save fuel.
Well, let's kind of look through what's coming up next, right? I mean, this is race 6 of 9. The championship is still closer than ever. What do you reckon is going to be in store for you coming into round number 7 here?
Oh, you know, I'd love to just be able to pull off another top 10 or a top 5. It's been a rough couple seasons for me, and you know, getting this win's really satisfying because it's just been a grind for the past bit where I just feel like I've had constant bad luck. So, you know, I'm hoping that we'll be able to kind of pull this momentum and keep moving it forward.
All right, we'll wish you the best of luck when we go racing once again. Congratulations on taking home win number another win here this season for you, and we'll see you when we see you next on track.
Thanks.
Jake Kasich comes home number 1 this afternoon. Austin Farr not available for comment here this afternoon. So, Fen, you've caught up with third-place finisher Ron Wolf, who out-dragged Augustino to the line.
That he did after a pretty hectic final couple laps, if I remember correctly, for Ron Wolf. How was that drive ended up in 3rd position?
It was something. It was you know, kind of that after that first stop, it was just kind of driving in clean air, but getting the field bunch back up and then getting to do a bunch more pack racing was like, it was a lot of fun.
Fantastic. That drag race down for the line on the final lap after going 3 wide, I think a lap prior. Pretty intense.
Yeah, I made a mistake in the Lesmos and dropped a gear too many.
No.
So that put me in the jaws of the beast. But I don't know. I'm still curious. I got to look at the replay to see what happened to everybody behind me, because we went into the second chicane 3 wide, and me and Tyler came out.
I believe it was a bit of an incident just behind you and Tyler, and you two were the 2 that got away for that one. A fantastic podium spot. Do we expect to see you back on the podium next week? I don't think we know where we're going, but is that in the cards for you?
Gotta see what we spin. I'm really hit or miss in these cars. I don't know. I mean, if you look at the results, like I'm either up. I think I've done a couple of rage quits, like at Laguna. Just like I had a cone for I don't know how many laps, and eventually just needed to park it. So I don't know. I'm gonna try, but it really depends on what track we're going to.
All right. Well, I don't think we know just yet. I don't think I've seen a spin happen. So, any other shout outs, things we missed that you'd love to mention?
I'm sure you got it, but on that final run, Gio, myself and Henry all like caught the run and managed to get past the pack. I don't know if you guys get a chance to like look at the cockpit view of that. It looked insane.
we'll have to go back through the replay and give it a look because that sounds fantastic to watch.
Yeah. Other than that, shout out to Kasich. That's a nice points haul for Snack Attack. We're kind of at the bottom, but we're still trying to capture what we can.
Absolutely. Well, I wish you best of luck when we can find out wherever we're going next week, and hopefully we'll see you back here hopefully soon.
Sounds good, man. Have a good night.
You as well, Ron. That is our third place finisher, Ron Wolf, who I have just finished catching up with.
Ron Wolf comes home third this afternoon, and well, that is going to be it then for our show here then this afternoon. An extremely wild race here this afternoon, one of the wildest races in recent memory here for the Beer League, but there's more action still to come, right? 3 races left, and this championship is only picking up.
Absolutely. I think that's going to bring a couple of points contenders, I think, back further into contention, especially with how low some of our drivers who were at the kind of top end of the championship standings going into this week ended up further down the order than the individuals that ended up on top of it. So I think it'll be interesting to see where the points shake out after this week specifically, because I think it turned a good number of the points finishers on its head in that way. So it'll be, I think, so much still to play for in these closing rounds.
Plenty of action still yet to come here in the Beer League. And before we get to that and more, we, of course, have got some more action coming on up. Tonight was race 1 of a Darlington triple header from Wednesday to Thursday. The other 2 races coming in tomorrow night with the Average Joe Sim Racing League alongside the Highline Diecast Collectible Speed Cup Series. The Boat Racing League should be out for more action down at Las Vegas Motor Speedway this coming Friday. And then on Saturday, it's a triple header, 2 with IndyCars and 1 with Gen 4. Spies IndyCar Series and the Velocity Online Racing IndyCar Series out of Chicagoland and Nashville, respectively. And then also to Chicagoland for the SRA Gen 4 Series later that evening. That'll see us back for the Boys Racing League and the Blaze Battles ARCA Series on Sunday. A lot more races there and beyond. If you want to find out more about who we are and what we can offer you, check us out today at www.greenflagtv.com. My name is Little Rempel. Thank you all so much for joining us alongside Acinni. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you when we go racing next week in the Beer League.